Welcome to the Faster, Easier, Better show. This podcast is short, fun, and jam-packed with good ideas that you can start using right away.
Welcome to another episode. I'm your co-host, Ellen, along with my co-host,
Matt Foley. And I live in a van down by the river. I'm a motivational speaker in a van down by the river. Now, I just finished my novel, my 26th book.
Oh, okay.
I'm not even sure how many novels, but a lot. And
Sweet.
The character lives in a van. So I did a lot of research about, tiny living,
Sure.
And I thought, man, there are some lessons there that could be applied to even if you had a big house.
Right.
Or if you lived in the big house. Well, that's a whole nother episode.
Well, no, because one of the things about humans is we expand our stuff to fill the space. So if you've only got a tiny little space in technically a van, you're going to live a little bit differently. So hit me with it.
Well, I mean, the whole underlying philosophy that I came away with is, well, like you said, they don't have a choice if you live in a tiny van. And so I think this was your idea where you try and buy things that are multifunctional, which I'd like you to expand on that. But the basic premise is that the less stuff you have, the less time it takes to buy it, maintain it, store it, take it out, put it away.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And think about which one of these do I want to use? If you just have less stuff, less decisions, less time. And I just think it's an interesting way of living, a simplified way of living in a complicated world. I think a lot of us would be, that's just what I needed. So that's why I thought this would be an interesting episode. We never covered this, and
No, I think that
food for thought.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it in your kitchen. You got a big kitchen. You've got stuff. Oh, it's easy to. We have this thing that does this one thing. It makes eggs, and we've got this thing that it's a panini press. Okay, there, it makes panini, but. Like the most efficient thing is a stove and an oven. They all do the stuff that we're buying things for to replicate or change up. So, finding things that you can use for a lot of different things. Swiss Army knife. That's kind of the thought process. A Swiss Army knife has all the tools right there in a small space. Oh, scissors. I've got a scissors right here. Is it the best scissors? Is it going to cut a thread? I'm not going to make a shirt with it, but I'm going to be able to cut things if I need to. Oh, open a bottle of wine. Look at that. It's got all the things, multi-purpose. So that's what I mean by finding a multi-purpose thing rather than one thing that does one thing.
Yeah, you left out the thing that does the most in our house, and it's the air fryer. So just so you know. But, like the crock pot, it is a one functional thing. It takes up a lot of room. And quite frankly, I don't even like the things it makes. So I might have to go back. I might check with my wife first before I discard it.
Technically, an air fryer is a convection fryer, which or convection oven, which you have on your stove or your oven if you've bought an oven in the last 10 years.
But you're right. In some of these vans, like the couch becomes the bed.
The bed.
And so, so tools, like there's tools that are all in one that do a multitude of things. I would say there's a lot of times where we store stuff like DVDs, video games, CDs that I don't know why. It's not vinyl. It's not like and cassettes. It's not like they're going to get more valuable over time. I don't think.
Right.
Don't hold me to that, but I think it's time to let go. I mean, I think that we've come to the digital age, and it's time to let go.
And basically, you're talking about like living in less space, even if it's just figuratively. That's the whole idea behind like the capsule wardrobe, where you have,
right.
I'm not going to make it a tiny wardrobe. Let's say you have 30 pieces of clothes all together, and they all work together. Or you have 10 pieces. But whatever it is, you've reduced how much stuff you have. And, with the idea of like, if I was living in a van, how much room would I have? So, reducing all the stuff we have. I mean, you know what? If someone told me I had to do that, like, where would my books go?
In your
That's
Kindle.
my thing.
I'm sorry. I know you're old school. I get it.
I'm a big physical book person. So, yeah, that would be a thing.
Well, and the other thing is how you do things. Like, don't put it down, put it away. And I think...
Right?
Just food for thought. My character lives in
Yeah.
a van. Not me, but my character.
Right.
And he's fictional, but he was very efficient. So that's where this came from. I hope you gleaned something useful out of this episode.
And if it makes you feel better, you can think living on a boat, because a boat is an equally small space. So if the van by the river doesn't really work with you, think about living in a boat. Be with us again next week for another episode.